What's up guys, Silver here with another Spartan Assault achievement guide. This time we're doing part 3 of 117, which is earn all gold stars in all operation missions. So for this video we're covering all missions in Operation C. And one of the biggest tips I could give you in general if you're having trouble getting to a gold star threshold on any of the missions is to modify your loadouts before you head into a mission. You could change your primary weapon, secondary, armor ability, but the biggest thing I think you could do is add a damage booster. There is a score booster that increases the amount of points you get per kill and everything, but since you could kill enemies faster with the damage boost, you could actually string together a lot more sprees, and you could also finish levels a lot quicker. And those two factors will be able to increase your score more so than a simple score boost would be able to. I'm just going to have a standard loadout for all these missions, but if you're still having trouble even after using these strats, just throw on a damage booster. It should be able to help you out significantly. Also, just something to point out real quick, the gold star thresholds do vary a bit based on whichever version of the game you're playing. There are 4 different versions of this game. There's one for Xbox One, one for 360, one for Windows Phone, and one for Windows 8. So these guides will be based on Xbox One's version, but if you're playing a different version, just be aware you may need to shoot for a different gold star threshold. So here we go, starting off mission C1. This mission is basically going from point A to point B with a ton of enemies in between. So we want to try to take those enemies and string them together in a long multi-kill so we get as many points as possible. So we just grabbed active camo there, and once we take out those first 5 enemies, we're going to throw a grenade over the rocks to keep the multi-kill going by taking out those jackals. We're going to do the same thing here, throw a grenade over those rocks to take out the elite to keep the multi-kill going. Pace out your grunt kills here so you could keep the multi-kill going as you make your way to this big elite. We're basically using these grunts to bridge the multi-kill from big enemy to big enemy. So the grunts you could use and pace your shots and pace your kills. So as you move between each encounter, you could keep the multi-kill going for a long time, as long as possible. And then once you do come across these elites, you could either throw a grenade at them to quickly kill them and keep the multi-kill going, or if they're the weak elites, the blue ones, you could actually just weaken them a little bit with some gunfire, and then one-hit beat down them. So just weaken them a little bit with some gunfire, and then smack them once to kill them. So I just cut back up there to grab some grenades, but we just had a ridiculously long multi-kill, tons of killionaires, and we basically already hit the gold star threshold, and we're only like halfway through this mission. But we're going to keep going because we have to finish the mission for the score to register, so here we go. We're going to throw some grenades at the jackals because we don't even want to have to deal with their shields. Same thing with the elites, and then we could take out the grunts easily enough. So we're just going to move forward here. We're approaching the end of the mission. It's not too long. And the good thing about this strategy of stringing together a long multi-kill is the fact that you clear out the enemies pretty quickly, and there is a time bonus, so that is always a factor as well. But at the end here, we're going to cloak ourselves and then hijack this shade turret here, and we're going to turn it against the 4 remaining elites at the end here. And we're just going to take these guys out real quick. When there's one elite left, you should get out and destroy the shade turret, because the shade turret is actually worth a lot of points, even if nobody's in it. But that's something I did not do. I took out the last elite right there, and then I didn't have time to hop out and blow this thing up before the Marines dropped in and finished the mission. So mission accomplished, but we didn't get those last few points, but that's okay. We had plenty. So we needed 70, and we got 123. So on to the next one. Here we go, mission C2. This one we're going to start off by going down here, meleeing this jackal to death. Same thing with the grunts. And then we're going to work our way around. There's basically a bunch of enemies that spawn in around this area, and you have to hold out for the duration of the mission. So kind of one of those firefight-esque missions, just hanging out and having a bunch of waves of enemies run at you. But I'm going to grab that sprint. I just exchanged that armor ability right there. Exchange that plasma pistol for the focus rifle sitting there. And then we're going to melee this wave of enemies, which is a bunch of drones. You could actually melee these guys. It seems like you shouldn't be able to since they're up in the air, but you very well could. Just go under them and melee, and you'll smack them right down. That's what we're doing here. Easy to take them out with one melee, and then if they're far away, you just want to use your focus rifle. But if they're close in, just give them a good old smack. And then we're going to go over here, and then we're going to take these guys out. You want to try to get the suicide grunts away from everybody else, because if the suicide grunts are the ones that drop the nades and kill everybody in the area, you actually don't get those kills. So that's why I kind of waited for the suicide grunt to separate himself from the pack, and then I took him out. So I was able to kill him separate from everybody else so I could get the kills on all the other guys and get those points too. We don't want the grunts to accumulate any points. We want all the points for ourselves, so. But once this wave of enemies is complete, there's actually going to be 2 ghosts that spawn in. One is down here, which we're going to hijack, and we're going to use this to take out the other ghost and all the other enemies that spawn in for the rest of the mission. We're going to go up here, and we're going to weaken the ghost enough where the pilot actually bails. And then once he gets out, we could get 2 kills instead of 1. We get 1 for killing the elite on foot and 1 for destroying the empty ghost. If we took out the ghost with the pilot in it, it wouldn't count for 2 kills. It would only count as 1. So that way we get a little bit more in the points department. And now we just have to get these 2 engineers, and we have to bring them to the middle of the map. And once we do that, a bunch of enemies will start spawning at all the shield doors. So at the top of the map here, where I am, down at the bottom of the map, and also on the left side of the map. So no shield doors on the right, fortunately, but we have to deal with all these guys from all the other directions. I like to kind of spawn kill the enemies up at the top, but you do want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on your engineers in the middle, because you can see they have bars of health over their heads. And if that bar gets down to 0 for both of them, that means they've died and you have lost the mission, so you got to start over. So definitely keep an eye on these guys. You could just stay in the middle and wait for everyone to come to you, which is a feasible option. But we're just taking out these guys down below at this point. And once an enemy spawns up top, I like to go up there and splatter them. All I have to do is touch them with a ghost and they just fall over. It's insane how easy it is to splatter people in this game. It's kind of like Halo 1. If a vehicle is moving at all and you touch it with one atom of your body, you'll just be splattered beyond recognition. As you can see here, I hopped out of the ghost to try to blow it up to get some extra points at the end, but I did not get it in time. But we got 103 total, and we only needed 65. Whatever, we didn't need those points. So now into mission C3, we're going to totally ignore the first Wraith here, just run right past it. There are some grunts in the area. You could take them out if you want to. You don't really need to, especially with the strategy I'm about to show you. It's pretty ridiculous how many points we're about to get. So we're going to run past the second Wraith too, and then we're going to go to the third Wraith, cloak yourself, and hijack it. And we're going to use this Wraith to wreak havoc on the entire area. All of the enemies are going to be talking about this day for a while, because there's going to be a lot of carnage here. But we're going to keep working our way to the top of the map here. There's actually a shield door, which is where all the enemies are coming from. And the infantry units only come in on the right side of the shield door, so we could just aim at that shield door on the right side and just keep firing at it continuously while all the enemies pour through it, and we just get tons of killionaires, tons of sprees, and our points are going to skyrocket here. So we can just sit here, park ourselves on the right side here, and just keep firing. They're not going to stop coming. There is a timer on this mission, unfortunately, so we only have 3.5 minutes left. You can see in the top center of the screen we have a countdown happening, but I decided to skip ahead because we just sat there for like 2.5 minutes. You do want to give yourself a good amount of time to get back down, because once you kill these 6 Wraiths, you will have to go down here and evac, and if you don't make it here in time before the clock hits 0, you will fail the mission. So you want to get down here, give yourself like a minute to get back down. So that is how you get 987,000 points, and that would have gotten you 45th on the leaderboard, number 45. We would have knocked Kazaa off, and I'm sitting up there at 1.523 million, and I used to be number 1, but Pro 7 Shorten came along. Thank God for him, and knocked me down to number 2. I'll get it back one day, but we're not going to focus on that right now. We're on to mission C4 here. We're going to throw a couple grenades right off the bat, one to the elite on the right and one to the elite on the left. If we don't do that fast enough, they will actually detect us, and they will cloak themselves, and 2 sword elites with cloaking is not great for your survival chances. But we're going to move up here and melee these 3 grunts. Make sure that your snipers actually make it past this thing that I'm shooting, that Covenant barrier. Sometimes one will get stuck on it, and if that happens, just kind of push him off of it physically with your body. Just like walk into him until he gets off of it. We're going to move forward here, and there's some enemies we're going to kill to get some more points, which is what we like. And there's going to be some jackals up here. We could throw some nades at them if we would like. I would like to, and I did. And if you're going to shoot these jackals, I recommend using the needler, because they are actually carrying needlers. So once you're done killing them, you could just replenish your ammo right off their dead body. So very convenient. But we're going to move forward, and we're going to cloak ourselves so we don't get detected by these guys. We're going to throw a grenade at this red elite, and then we're going to melee these remaining grunts here. Try to get a multi-kill. Unfortunately, this mission is like C1, where it's kind of just going from point A to point B on a long winding path. But unfortunately, in this mission, it's tough to string together a large multi-kill because the enemies are so far apart compared to C1. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of opportunity for a really long multi-kill. But we'll do the best we can. We kind of have to get clusters of multi-kills instead of one giant multi-kill. So that's what we're going to try to do. But up here, we're going to cloak ourselves, and then we're going to throw a grenade at this sword elite as he's passing the red elite, and hopefully you get a double kill with that one grenade. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. The red elite decided to peace out and avoid the blast radius of that first grenade, but we threw a second one at him, and he did not have as much luck that time. So we're just going to make our way up here. All the snipers are in position now. If you come across an invisible elite, you want to try to get him to run straight at you. I know it sounds bad, but when he does that, he's opening himself up to a world of hurt because he's very easy to shoot when he's running straight at you. Just fire right at him, and 2 super combined explosions from your Needler will take him out. And here comes another one. We should have our Needler out for him, but unfortunately I was already shooting with my focus rifle, so I decided to stick with that. There's a crate of grenades here, so you could throw 3 at this turret right over the rock formation there, so he can't shoot you, but you could still reach him with those grenades and take him out. Then we're going to cloak ourselves and hijack this shade, and we're going to use this shade to take out all the remaining enemies that spawn in. There are a handful of enemies that are going to come through this shield door. Once we take out these grunts, there are going to be 2 invisible elites that come through, which is the second to last wave, so they're coming through now. Take these guys out with the shade, and then we're actually going to get out, and we're going to blow up the shade before we take out this final elite, which is the last wave. Just throw a nade or 2 at this shade here, and then we're going to take this guy out. Mono e alieno. So he's not cooperating, really, but we have plenty of ammo, so I'm not worried about running out. And he never charged us, which would have made us shooting him easier, but again, we had plenty of ammo, so I wasn't worried about it. Just keep firing away. So this mission is one that you can't really blast ridiculously far past the gold star threshold, at least to my knowledge. C3, the one before this, was one where we could get like 10 times the gold star threshold, but that one not so much. So I would recommend putting on a damage or a score booster if you find you're having trouble reaching that 85,000. But here we go. We're going to go down to the lower left and take out this grunt either by shotgun or melee, either one. Grab the nades in that crate, and then we're going to run over here and take out these 2 grunts. And then we're going to hop in this shade turret, and we're going to wait for this brute chieftain to come at us. And it only takes 2 shots with this shade turret to take him out. Don't worry about taking damage. You can see I got stuck, but we're not really worried about it. Blow up that fusion core in the top right of the screen. We'll come back to that later. And then we're going to take out these drones as they come up over the cliff. And we want to take out hopefully all of them with the shade turret. But if they get past our shade turret here and they start really shooting at that engineer towards the left side of the screen, we're going to have to bail and manually, and by manually I mean like physically go over there and smack the aliens out of the air. So fortunately that didn't happen. We took out all of the buggers for the most part with the shade turret, but sometimes if a handful of the drones do get past you, it's tough to shoot them because there are those barricades surrounding the engineer there, and then you'd have to kill all the buggers on foot. But anyway, once the buggers stop spawning in on the right side, that is your cue to get out of the turret and hop into this turret on the left. And we're going to look over here on the left side of the map. That is where the grunts will be spawning in at that point. And you can see that is what they were doing until this point. At around the 40-second mark to 30 seconds, there's a bit of a reprieve, and then it starts up again at about 30 seconds left on the countdown timer in the top center of your screen. And at this point, the buggers come back. There's grunts coming in from where they were coming in before, and they also come in from the top left side of the shield door as well. So we're surrounded on all sides at this point. Fortunately, the drones focus on the engineer. You want to make sure the engineer stays alive. We're focusing on the grunts for the most part, and the engineer should be able to stay alive by himself with the help of his marine buddies if he was healthy enough, if we protected him enough in the beginning of the mission from that first wave of drones. But definitely keep an eye on him, of course. Again, if he gets super weak, you may want to hop out and help him on foot rather than staying in the turret, because the turret doesn't have a great shot from those barricades surrounding him. But anyway, once you safely protect him, there will be a 2-minute countdown timer that starts. And once that happens, there will be a bunch of enemies that come in from the top shield door, which we could barely see. It's at the top of the map where I'm shooting right now. And you can see I have a huge killionaire, a huge multi-kill going here. And that's where we're going to get the majority of our points, because they just keep coming. They just keep pouring through the shield door for a solid 35, 40 seconds. And then eventually they will start coming in from different points. They'll keep coming from that same spot, but they'll start coming in from other shield door sections as well. This is where things could get pretty interesting. You want to stay in the turret, obviously, as long as possible, because you could get a lot of kills really quickly and easily. But you don't want to risk dying, because we're towards the end of the mission now. And you definitely want to keep an eye on the health of your shade turret. So you can see the health at the top center of the screen. You can see it still has about half its health, but you definitely want to keep an eye on that, especially with the grunts and elites surrounding you and throwing grenades at you. You'll have to bail eventually, probably. Now seems like a pretty good time. My shade turret is super weak. I'm going to hop out and throw a grenade at it so I could kill the turret itself, but also it looks like I got a grunt or two in that as well, so that's good. And we're just going to hide over here. Most of the enemies cannot reach you in this little corner for whatever reason. You just kind of want to wedge yourself in there. That's why I blew up the fusion core in the beginning of the mission, because I didn't want the fusion core here to blow up me and kill me right at the end of the mission. But again, this is a super safe spot. Most enemies don't bother you here. And you can see we have the help of a off-screen sniper friend who just took out that elite for us. He was looking a little too hard in our general direction, so we got help from him. That grunt decided to throw a nade at me successfully, so I just popped out and shot him with my shotgun. And I grabbed the regeneration armor ability, which I probably should have earlier. So if I take any damage, I could just activate that armor ability. like so, and my shield goes right back up. So very nice. And again, most enemies just totally ignore you, and the ones that do come over here, you could easily take out. And we're just waiting for that clock to hit 0, which it does, and the mission is accomplished. And we hit 330, well above the 180 we needed. And that is the end of this mission and this operation. Gold stars for Operation D are coming up next. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You could also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you could find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.